Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Happy Monday, everybody, and it is June 1st. What felt like a long way to go until June 1st has finally arrived. And for those not paying attention, why is June 1st such an important date? Because that was the date that was set on the A.J. Brown trade rumors. Because we all know when you look at the contract, a post-June 1st trade allows the Eagles to space out the dead cap numbers over the next 2 years. So everyone's been pointing to June 1st, 4 o'clock, as being the time when the Eagles could trade A.J. Brown.
I believe
Will it happen?
4:01, William.
4:01, Ricky Bo. That is correct. Will it happen today at 4:01? Will we be getting breaking news on the show?
My guess, I think we are the lucky ones. I think it happens here. I mean, we have an hour and 59 minutes after that thing is scheduled or whatever can come out. I got to believe this thing's a done deal. We've heard it from way too many people that I didn't realize that they could actually talk today. Like I heard Shefty this morning talking about them. Well, the Eagles and Patriots are probably talking this morning.
Well, they
probably
could be talking
meeting this morning.
They could be talking for months. There's nothing.
Yeah,
it's not free
I guess
agency.
the talking isn't the problem. You're right. I guess if you can't do a done deal until after 4:01. So if they've been talking and they have a deal in place, which isn't surprising. I saw Banner jump on yesterday and say, yeah, that deal is done, all but done. And to me, I have the same feeling. I mean, it's so weird because this has turned into almost like New Year's Eve. You're kind of waiting for the clock to hit midnight.
Yep.
Well, we're waiting for that clock to hit 4:01, and I'm thinking we might hear it before 4:15. That's my thought. I just have that weird feeling that it's going to come out, and then they're going to make an announcement when they can.
Now, take this for what it's worth to steal a Ricky Bo line, but per reliable sources, I have been told it will definitely take place today.
Who?
That the A.J. Brown trade will happen today. I don't know if that means 4:01. I don't know if that means 6:01, 8 o'clock, but I was told it will happen today. So make sure you stay with us all show long. As soon as we get that breaking news, we will bring it to you because it seems like June 1st wasn't only a day that the Eagles had circled for the A.J. Brown trade. A lot went down today. So the Giants are bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. Who saw that one coming? But the blockbuster that just dropped in the NFL, if you missed it, the Los Angeles Rams have traded for Myles Garrett. Let me repeat that. The L.A. Rams have traded for Myles Garrett. They gave up Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, and other draft compensation, according to Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, and Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. This is crazy, dude. The L.A. Rams are all in. They already traded for McDuffie and gave him an extension, trading their 26th first-round pick. Now they trade a 27 first-round pick for Myles Garrett. They are all in, man.
I got to ask you a question. Does this not feel a little deflating? Like all these moves that are going on today and Myles Garrett going to the Rams, who are kind of one of the teams that the Eagles have to have circled. There's no doubt about it, and all of a sudden their defense got even better.
The Rams, before they traded for Myles Garrett, were the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Did they switch? I know you're getting ready to search.
I just went on.
Bill lives and dies by the odds changing.
I do love the odds. I don't know if these have changed or not because I can't remember. But right now, the L.A. Rams are a plus 550 to win the Super Bowl. The closest to them are the Ravens and the Bills at a plus 1,000. So they almost have double the odds of anybody in terms of having better odds to win the Super Bowl. Crazy.
Wow, listen to this. Not only do they have the reigning MVP, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, let's see, passing yards and touchdowns Stafford, receptions Puka Nacua, receiving touchdowns Devontae Adams, and sacks Myles Garrett.
Yeah, they're going to be.
They have all of that right now.
They're going to be a headache, man. They're going to be a headache. Now, as I was walking through promotions like I usually do, our friend Brendan Petrilli does a great job down there.
Who?
You know who he is. He also was in L.A. for the Phillies-Dodgers series, which we'll talk about a little bit later. He says to me, would you have traded Jalen Carter and the first-round pick the Eagles might get from the Patriots for Myles Garrett if that's what it would have taken? I don't think I would have made that move.
I don't think the Eagles would do that. Look, when you look at the Rams, that is one thing that they're not afraid to do. They do not give two bleeps about their draft picks.
Nope.
They really don't. That is like a second-hand thought to them that, oh, you guys want draft picks? What do you need? It's like they have a board of drafts, and they say, all right, guys, hey, get on a Zoom call with me, and here's what we got. Which ones you want? Oh, you want one and two? You got them. Yeah, we'll just throw them your way. Just send Myles Garrett our way. We're good.
Yes,
I don't think there's much negotiating going on there.
I'm looking at the LA Rams. You ready for this?
Yep.
They drafted Jared Goff in the first round of 2016. They did not have a first-round pick in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, or 23. Their first-round pick in 24 was Jared Verse, who they just traded. They did not have a first-round pick in 2025. And they traded one of the first-round picks away in 26. The other one they used on a backup quarterback.
But if you win a Super Bowl this year, is it not worth it?
Yeah, their recipe's already worked because they already won one Super Bowl.
And think about this. Their number one picks are usually like deep. They're not usually in the top 10.
Yeah, they're usually pretty good.
No, I'm saying
they're usually a good team.
Yeah, they're usually a pretty good team, which means their draft picks are going to be not that good. They're going to be more closer to number 2 picks than they are number 1s.
Man, so I kind of like Garrett.
You know what? Take that for what it's worth. I kind of like that. It's a casino gambler guy.
Yeah, look, there's different ways of building the team, and clearly the Rams do it where they don't care about draft picks. They do it through making big trades and signing free agents. I just don't know how they're fitting all this under the cap, but they're making it work. But let's look at what the Eagles might do today. So, again, 4:01 today, the Eagles could trade A.J. Brown and allow them to space out the dead cap money over the next 2 years. This weekend, Jeremy Fowler was on ESPN talking about the A.J. Brown trade. Here's what he said.
We're getting really close here, and I was told the Patriots remain confident that they can get this deal done. When I checked with a source on trade terms, I was told that sides are, quote, working on it. And so after 4:01 p.m., around 4:01 p.m. tomorrow is when, that time that we've been waiting on, the Eagles can spread out that cap hit over 2 years instead of 1. So the Patriots are hopeful that they can try to get a deal done shortly after that window opens, but they still have to agree. I'm told they have not been overly crazy about giving up a first-round pick, which is what Philly's kind of wanted all along here. So they got to find a sweet spot on the trade terms. Does it include maybe a conditional pick or maybe a pick going back to New England? That's what they're sorting through.
All right, so that was yesterday, right? So Jeremy Fowler now, because if you remember last week, we were starting to hear, it might not be June 1st. It might take a lot longer. Well, now, over the weekend, Jeremy Fowler, they're talking again. They just got to figure out if it's going to be a first-round pick. And then this morning, Jeremy Fowler's brother at ESPN, Adam Schefter, joined the boys in the morning, Kincaid and Sal Chunas, and it seems like he has an understanding of what the trade will be. Listen to Shefty.
Do I think he's going to be traded at some point here in the next 24 to 48 hours to New England? That would be my best guess and best information. Could something go awry? Always. But they have not spoken in weeks. I expect that they'll resume conversations today. And in the end, I believe that the two sides will come to a deal. I expect the deal to include a 2028 first-round draft pick.
2028 first-round pick. So not this coming draft. 2 drafts from now.
Isn't that what they were looking for?
Well, originally we were
27. We were here in 27. It turns into 28. I think I'd rather have the 27. Now, look, I'm not talking about player-wise. I'm just talking about, you look at the Patriots. Patriots are coming off of a Super Bowl, right? How many teams do well after they go to the Super Bowl and lose?
Not many. Super Bowl hangover's a real thing.
Although it is the Patriots. I bet you their history is different.
Yeah, because actually they went back and won it after the Eagles beat them in the Super Bowl 52.
Tom Brady.
And Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little different.
But you're right. The Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. We've also talked about, if you look at the Patriots last year, had like the top 5 easiest schedule. This year, they're like a bottom 6 in terms of strength of schedule. Very tough schedule for the Patriots. They have the distractions potentially of the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel stuff going on. So who knows? But with Howie Roseman, even if it's a 2028 first-round pick, I trust that they will utilize it the right way. whether it's trading it up and getting something better, whether it's waiting until 2028, whatever it is, if you're able to trade close to a 30-year-old wide receiver and get a first-round pick in return, I'll take it. It's not a huge home run. It's not as if you're trading him for multiple first-round picks, but it's also, we say this a lot, it's what the market dictates. So, I mean, the Eagles could have come out here and said, we want 3 first-round picks. If nobody's willing to give it to you, he's not worth it. AJ's worth whatever a team is willing to give you, and it does appear that it's probably only a first-round pick in 2020.
Isn't it weird that it's only the Patriots, this whole situation? I know a lot of people have jumped in and said, oh, the Rams might want him, the Chiefs, this, that. That is all speculation. I think this thing is all but said and done. I think it's all but said and done. And the only thing that you could actually really think about is, all right, the Patriots have had this situation going on with them for the last 2 months. And I just think it's all said and done except for the timing. Isn't that what really makes sense to anybody right now?
Yeah, I think it's been done for a while. Like, here's what I think's going on.
What if the Patriots just decide, nah, we're not doing it?
It's never going to happen.
You think it's too late for that?
And here's what I think is going on. So, and we have NFL Network on too. Everyone's saying the same thing. Likely to be traded to the Patriots. I believe that for whatever reason, the NFL doesn't want it out there that the Eagles and the Patriots agreed to this deal a long time ago. Yeah. And that they have just been waiting until June 1st. And for whatever reason, maybe the NFL doesn't want that perception out there that they've had this agreement in place. Because you just think about what the Eagles have done and what the Patriots have done over the last 2 months in the NFL draft, how they approached over the last few weeks. They both had to know what they were getting when June 1st came around. The Eagles had to know we're trading A.J. Brown, or you're not drafting Mekhi Lemon. You're not signing Hollywood Brown. You're not signing Dontavian Wicks. Like, you're not doing these things if you didn't already know A.J. was on the way out. And Howie Roseman is a good enough businessman to understand by doing all those things, you signaled to the rest of the league, we're not bringing A.J. back, and that would make his value plummet.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the deal had to have been in place already.
It had to have been in place. Number one, A.J. Brown deletes his X account, yesterday? I mean, come on. He knows what's coming.
That's fake news.
He didn't delete it?
He's had it deleted since the playoffs ended.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why we haven't heard from him.
Yeah, people are taking that and running with it.
That was the other thing I was getting at, is that, you know what's funny? Have you heard from A.J. Brown? Has there been any thought process from A.J. Brown? Have there been any cryptic notes out there from A.J. Brown? No. Why? Because he knows what's going on. He's known what has been going on for a while.
Yeah, I actually heard Johnny and Sean talking about this on Middays, and they're right. AJ handled this perfectly. He wanted to go to New England. And think about how he orchestrated this. He hasn't said anything. He's been behind the scenes. He hasn't been on social media.
I'll be the perfect student.
The closest thing we got was when he was on the Two Dudes podcast with who was it? Edelman and Gronk. And he gave them the wink.
Yeah, it's Gronk.
Yeah, he gave them the wink about, we're all Patriots here, and he gave them the wink, and that was the closest we got. He knew that this was going to happen. He handled it perfectly. Look, Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, they handled it perfectly. They all have been...
They did?
Well, perfectly to get AJ, not perfectly for their marriages.
Wow.
Yeah, let me clarify.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Let me clarify. But Rossini constantly putting out the reports, and Vrabel wanting AJ, and AJ wanting Vrabel. All of it was handled perfectly.
Rossini wanted Vrabel.
Yeah, they all got what they wanted. They all got what they wanted.
It's a hell of a triangle.
They handled this perfectly. But look, for Eagles fans, it's not necessarily handled perfectly because, look, I'll be honest with you. When 401 comes today, if we get the breaking news that A.J. Brown was traded, I'm going to be relieved and happy that the conversation can finally end, the speculation can finally end, and we could all turn the page and move on to 2026. But at the same time, I'm not going to be happy that A.J. Brown is no longer a Philadelphia Eagle. A.J. Brown was great in his 4 years here. A.J. Brown is arguably the best wide receiver in franchise history. Just look at the numbers. The guy sits there, number one and number two in the most yards ever in a season by a wide receiver. He's number one for the most receptions ever in a season by a wide receiver. He was a big part of this team going to 2 Super Bowls. He was a big part of this team winning a Super Bowl. So in no way am I going to be celebrating today that A.J. Brown, the player, is on his way out, but I will be happy that the speculation and the rumors and the conversation can finally come to an end.
Yeah, the rumors are going to end. I mean, everything's going to end. Once he gets traded, it's just going to be like, it's about time. Everybody knew it. This was not a situation that was going to blow up in somebody's face. It's just one of those things where it's A.J. Brown getting what he wants. My biggest thing that I'm going to take out of this, I cannot wait to hear his first presser with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you know what? Your face just lit up when I said that. Why? Because that first question has to be why? Why did you want to leave the Eagles and come to the Patriots?
I think he's going to handle it professionally.
You think he's just going to throw a bunch of garbage up against the wall and hope it sticks?
I think it'll be, I enjoyed my time there. The NFL is a business. I love a lot of the guys over there.
Yeah, but can you go to the business part? Like, can you really go to the business part? That's the part I don't think you can go to, because this wasn't about money. Unless they extend them, which very well could happen.
All right, so I agree with you. It doesn't make sense to just say it's a business, because this has nothing to do with money. Clearly, he was unhappy here. Clearly, A.J. Brown wanted out. Because I think if A.J. didn't want to be traded, there's no way the Eagles are trading him. You're not saving that much in terms of draft capital, in terms of salary cap space. In fact, according to SpotRack, even though they're going to space out the dead cap numbers, in 2026, if the Eagles trade A.J. Brown, they will only save $1.5 million in cap space. And in 2027, they will only save $1 million in cap space. So this has nothing to do with cap space. Clearly, A.J. wanted to be traded. We've heard from multiple sources that he requested a trade at least 3 or 4 times in the regular season. We know Jeffrey Lurie had that embrace with him at practice where he gave him a hug. And then after that, he kind of stopped talking to the media about his desires. Right. He stopped putting out cryptic tweets.
Yeah.
A.J. wanted out. And the reason we'll never get to the bottom of, I don't think anyone will ever say.
You don't think that will ever come out?
Here's what I was told.
There's going to be major speculation.
Here's what I was told, okay? Per sources that I have spoken to about why A.J. Brown wanted to be traded. Now, we had Joe Santoliquito on the show months ago who said, well, A.J. wants to be a Hall of Famer and he doesn't believe that Jalen Hurts can get him those numbers. I've actually been told from reliable sources that this has less to do with what's going on the field and everything to do with off the field. That him and Jalen have their personal relationship is basically over. Even if they say things publicly about they're okay, they're not. AJ doesn't get along with Jalen and wants out. That's what I've been told from reliable sources.
Do you ever think of why, though? Is it because of football? Is it because of personal life? What do you think? Do you see what I'm saying? There's 2 kinds of off the field. Off the field can mean in the locker room. Off the field can mean outside of the locker room. On those streets.
Yeah, I was told it was personal issues between the two of them, whatever that means.
That still doesn't answer that question. People are going to dig for this answer as much as they possibly can.
So will we find out?
Sooner or later, somebody's going to get traded or somebody's going to get ticked off and drop the news.
Now, as we're talking about dropping news, the Myles Garrett news was reported. Jordan Schultz put it out, right? Jordan Schultz just put out a very interesting tweet. Now, Schultz is an NFL insider. All it is, eye emojis. That's it. Just put out eye emojis. Is he talking about the A.J. Brown trade? Is there another shoe to drop here that people aren't expecting? Because no one really saw the Myles Garrett trade drop in today. So make sure you keep it here. We're going to bring you any breaking news as it comes. We were on A.J. Brown watch, but now we might be on NFL watch across the board. But I do have a question about this A.J. Brown stuff. Where are the Eagles going to miss him more? On the field or off of it? Now, my answer might surprise you. We'll get to that coming up next. Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, so welcome back in. A.J. Brown watch continues. We'll let you know if he does, in fact, get traded. If you missed it earlier, huge trade in the NFL. Myles Garrett goes to the L.A. Rams, and we now have the full trade package, Ricky Bo. Did you see this? They gave up a ton for the reigning defensive player of the year. So per Adam Schefter, here are the full trade terms. The Browns receive Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second, and a 2029 third in exchange for Myles Garrett and Myles Garrett alone. No more pick swaps or anything. So they got a first, a second, and a third, and Jared Verse. I got to be honest with you. I love Myles Garrett. He's a beast. He's the defensive player of the year, best defensive player in the NFL. I think the Browns won the trade, man.
Browns don't win anything.
Well, they won this trade.
That team sucks.
Point,
they're always going to suck. Watch, they'll win the Super Bowl this year. But no, I mean, when you think about it, yeah, I guess if you're talking about a trade and you're talking about what you're getting in return, yes, they won. They won the trade. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But isn't it what you do with it? Jared Verse, okay, you put him on that defense. Is he going to be that good? He may be their best defender, but that doesn't mean that much.
No, listen, you're right. It's what they do with it, but when you look at just the draft compensation.
Don't they have 9 quarterbacks on that team?
Yeah, they have a lot. But according to Ryan Fowler of NBC Sports Philadelphia, this guy came out of nowhere and has been breaking news like crazy since he joined NBC Sports Philadelphia. He put out a few minutes ago, the Eagles' interest in Myles Garrett was more than exploratory, per source. He says here, the Eagles offered some combination of Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt and a combination of picks. Jalen Carter was also a name that arose in talks, I'm told, but zero potential framework revolved around the Eagles star up front.
I'm going to ask you a question. If you're the Rams, where are you trading them?
Oh, well, you got a haul.
I mean, if
and you get him out of your conference.
If you're Cleveland, all right, do I want to put them in the Eagles? We get Jalen Carter back, who's going to cost them a ton of money on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably went with whoever's giving them the most draft capital.
Yeah, it definitely came down to draft capital and what's going to happen in the long run, I guess. But you know what? What do the Browns do with draft capital? They go after quarterbacks, and it doesn't work for them.
Yeah, so crazy, though. The Eagles.
When are they moving?
I don't know, but they already moved once. The Eagles were in on the Myles Garrett conversation, according to Ryan Fowler, never materialized. But let's talk about the A.J. Brown trade for a second, because that's the one that Eagles fans are waiting on and have been waiting on for a long time. And I threw out the question, where are the Eagles going to miss A.J. Brown more? Is it on the field or is it off of it? And I said you might be surprised by my answer. I think the Eagles have already taken the necessary steps to replace him on the field. You know what DeVonta Smith can give you. You drafted Mekhi Lemon. You brought back Dallas Goedert. You drafted E.J. Stowers. You signed Dontavian Wicks. Not saying that any of those guys are A.J. Brown, but you've done a lot to replace him on the field. I think they're going to miss him off the field, Ricky Bo, because I think one of the most overstated narratives in the city right now is that A.J. Brown is a cancer in that locker room. He is beloved by the Philadelphia Eagles, the team, the front office, the coaching staff, and he has been a leader on this team, and he was the guy, like it or not, who was willing to step up and talk when things weren't going well. He was the guy who was willing to call out the offense saying, we need to be better. And I think they're going to miss that guy in that locker room.
Very cute. That's a very cute answer. I think that's a very heartfelt answer. I think you really kind of dug deep for that one. But you missed something. There's a problem with him and Jalen Hurts.
And I think that is even more reason why you're going to miss him. Because I think you are naive.
So Jalen Hurts is going to miss him? You just said he's loved by everybody in that locker room.
I think you are naive to assume that A.J. Brown is the only player on that offense that has issues with Jalen Hurts.
Okay, that's fine. I understand
and
that.
He's the one who stands up and speaks. Think about now. You don't have A.J.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
That means DeVonta Smith can stand up, right?
You would hope.
Well, now you're only hoping, which is why they're going to miss him more on the field. It's exactly what I wanted you to say, because it just backs my point. Number one, you're missing a number one wide receiver, 1,000-yard plus guy as a receiver. You know that. I know that. And you're replacing him with who? DeVonta Smith. Who you replacing DeVonta Smith with?
Mekhi Lemon.
You don't even know what he's going to be.
You used a first-round draft pick.
He has not played one game in the NFL yet.
You used a first-round draft pick.
So you're telling me there's no question mark whatsoever?
Oh, certainly there is.
Then don't do that.
But
because you had the best 1-2 combo in the National Football League on your team,
arguably. But I didn't say definitively. I just said you had one of the best 1-2 punches for a wide receiver combo. You have taken the necessary steps to try to replace him on the field. What have you done to replace his voice off of it?
Nothing.
That's why I think it's going to be a bigger deal than you're making it out to be. Don't even take my word for it.
DeVonta Smith, I figure, will take that job.
All right, listen to what Saquon Barkley said about AJ. This is why I worry they're going to miss him off the field. This was Saquon Barkley last week when he was asked about the loss of A.J. Brown, the potential loss of A.J. Listen to Saquon.
I don't think we really addressed it. It's football. It's the National Football League. I think if you sit have me, it's going to be a hard time for me to say anything bad about A.J. Brown. I'm a big fan of A.J. Brown, one of my really good friends, one of my favorite teammates I've ever been around. Just respect him as a man. But this is the business. It's NFL. If I'm not here, if Jalen's not here, if whoever's not here, the show goes on. And that's how the NFL operates. So you don't really address it. It's not really anything to be addressed. You just go by your work and keep getting better. And, whatever happens, it's above my pay grade. And I'm just focused on being the best player that I can be and also be the best leader I can be for this team going into the next season.
All right, so great answer from Saquon there. But did you notice what he said about AJ? One of my better friends. One of the best teammates I've ever had. When you trade a guy like that and you take him out of the locker room, I know a lot of fans want to demonize him now. They want to make him the villain. Oh, he was a cancer. Everything we've ever heard, publicly and privately, is that AJ is loved in that locker room. You don't always hear that about the quarterback. Now, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I am. I think Jalen's going to have a big season, but I do worry about what the loss of AJ Brown in the locker room is going to mean. If things start to go south, if the offense isn't firing on all cylinders, AJ was the guy who was the voice. He was the guy who would say, hey, passing offense needs to improve. Hey, we're not good enough. Now you're going to take that guy away. Do you start to have players on the team who start to feel a little bit a certain way towards the quarterback? Oh, man, AJ wanted out of here. Now we see why. That's why I think I'm worried about missing him off the field.
I get it, but he was also one of those guys changing plays on the field of plays that were called in Seattle, wasn't he?
Well, he doesn't do that without the quarterback.
Right. So that they were a dynamic duo in that sense. Maybe Jalen said, no, we can't change the plays anymore. Maybe that happened.
No.
Why not?
It's all personal.
See, you think it's personal. How do you know it's a player? How do you know it is a player still? Do you know that factually that it's a player?
It's a what?
A player that he's upset with.
Oh, yeah, I know. We all know it's him and Jalen.
Nothing to do with the coaches at all.
No.
All right.
Nothing to do with the coaches. And you know what? I'm glad you bring that up.
I just think this whole thing is very strange. I mean, he basically asked for a trade last year after week 4, I believe it was. So what happened in between week 3 and 4 of last year is what I'd want to know.
Well, I'm glad you bring up about the coaches, though, because a lot of people have been tweeting about the incident against the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card game that saw Sirianni yelling at AJ. You remember that? Where Sirianni's telling him to get off the field and AJ was all upset. So I went back and Nick Sirianni was asked after that game about that sideline exchange. Now, you just heard Saquon Barkley say, AJ's one of the best teammates I ever had. He's one of my better friends. Listen to the head coach talking about his wide receiver.
Well, I was trying to get him off the field, because we were about to punt, and that was really it. So I love AJ. I think he knows how I feel about him. I have a special relationship with him. We've probably went through every emotion you can possibly have together. We've laughed together. We've cried together. We've yelled at each other. We're both emotional. I was trying to get him off the field, and that happens in this game. That happens in this game, but I love him.
How many times did he say he loved him in that clip? 3? The special relationship that they have? I'm telling you, man, listen to me. And maybe this is because I have a little bit of inside information from sources I've spoken to about how much AJ is beloved by his teammates. I think you are overlooking what this could mean for that locker room. This is a big loss. Maybe business is as usual. Maybe these guys can step up and fill the void of AJ leaving. But I think we're overlooking it. Too many people are just, you just got to replace him on the field. You got to replace him off, man. You got to replace him off the field.
I get what you're saying. I think it's very important that losing him on offense. I think that's a big part of their offense. That's 1,000 yards out of your offense. If you expect a rookie to come on and put those numbers up, then fine. Then you could be all you want about what that locker room means. They have plenty of guys in that locker room that should be able to step up. And you start with the offensive line. Who's going to step up in the receivers room? That has to be DeVonta Smith. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He's going to have to be the one with the mouth now. And I'm not talking about being the diva on the sideline. I'm talking about within the receivers room. He's going to have to step up in class because that is what you do when you want to be a number one receiver. You take responsibility for everybody in that room.
Now, you say diva. Is that how you would describe A.J. Brown? You think he's a diva?
I don't know. Just that a highly, how do I put this? Highly confident aura about him. That's how I would put it.
You see, I believe, and again, based off of people I've spoken to, A.J. did things publicly to show his frustration where others did not.
You mean the book on the sidelines?
Well, I don't know if the book was necessarily showing his frustration. I'm talking about the cryptic Instagram tweets, or
I don't really care about
or
the
going on
Instagram
going on the Twitch account and talking about things.
Yeah, but here's the problem: you throw a cryptic thing online, nobody knows exactly what you're talking about, anyways.
Agreed.
Which is why it's called cryptic.
But what I've been told is, although AJ was the one who showed his frustration publicly, that there were players on that offense who were even more frustrated than A.J. Brown was.
I'm sure there are.
And that's why I worry when you take A.J. out of that locker room, what happens?
You know who wasn't frustrated?
Good thing you got a players coach in Nick Sirianni.
You know who wasn't frustrated? Dallas Goedert.
Wow, with his 11 touchdowns?
Like I said, yeah.
11 touchdowns? All right, well, look, you said diva, and I know you're saying you don't think that A.J. is. Coming up, though, because there are people who do think he is, he hasn't spoken to the media in quite some time. AJ has not spoken to the media in quite some time.
Because he knew he would have to when he gets traded.
Well, I went back all the way to November when he went on that Twitch feed and he was talking about some of the frustrations with the offense. He had to address that after the fact. And here's AJ explaining, we'll play this for you coming up, why he speaks out. Because a lot of people say it's all about him, right? He wants his numbers. Well, we'll hear what AJ said on why he voices his frustrations with the offense. We'll get to that. We'll bring you some more breaking news. We got a little bit of an update from Jordan Schultz, nothing groundbreaking, that they are deep in talks, the Eagles and the Patriots. As I said, I was told the trade will happen today. But what did AJ say back in November about why he speaks out on the offense? And we want to hear from you. Where are they going to miss AJ Brown the most? On the field, off the field, or maybe you don't think they miss him at all? Would love to hear from you. Send your voice memos, your texts to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. A.J. Brown Watch continues. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, so we're on A.J. Brown Watch. Now, we just had a conversation where I asked Ricky, are the Eagles going to miss A.J. more on the field or off of it? And Ricky makes a good case for on the field. You're talking about a Pro Bowl wide receiver, best wide receiver in franchise history, arguably. I just worry about more off the field and his leadership, because sometimes, and we had this show back in the regular season, sometimes the leader has to be the one that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I always felt like A.J. Brown was that guy. In the 2024 season, even though they were winning games, we all looked at that passing offense and said, man, this passing offense, is it good enough to win a Super Bowl? And A.J. Brown came out and he said, the passing offense needs to be better. You remember that? And then what did they do? They got better. Against the Steelers, that passing offense was phenomenal. That's when Jalen dropped the epic. That's what you all wanted to see, huh? Well, in 2025, the season we just saw, passing offense was having issues, whether it was Kevin Patullo, Jalen Hurts, the offensive line, whoever you want to blame, the passing offense was having issues. A.J. Brown went on social media and he complained a little bit. And at his locker, he had to answer the question on why he voiced his frustrations. And I think this helps understand the psyche of A.J. Brown and why they will miss him off the field. This was A.J. Brown back in November. Listen to this.
It's not just solely about my situation. I mean, guys, like, obviously I want to win too, you know, and I think if we're really focusing on winning and doing our job, like, we can't just keep slapping the Band-Aid over the defense doing their job and getting us out of trouble. At what point are we going to pick up our slack as an offense that we're so great, you know? And that's what I'm getting at. It's not about we're not winning or I don't care about winning. All I care about is stats. No, it's been week after week sometimes. We're not contributing. We're not doing our job on offense. So you can't just keep slapping the Band-Aid over that. And if you expect to win late in the year and you think you're going to go to it at the end of the year, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, you know? And last year, what it was, thank you for the ring, but it's a new season. They adapted. We have to adapt, and we have to continue to, like, get better and try to find new ways. So that's where the frustration comes in, because it's not about winning, you guys. Like, I want to win, yes. I want to help contribute as well, do our thing on offense as well. I think that's fair.
I think that was a great answer from A.J. Brown, and I think it helps us understand the psyche of A.J. Brown. The reason he's speaking up, it's not about personal stats all the time. He wants to win, but like he said, you can't just keep slapping a Band-Aid over it and thinking everything was going to be okay. And then what happened? We all saw it on full display. Now, he had a bad game in the wild card. I'm not absolving him from that against the 49ers, but he was right. It came back to haunt you. The offense wasn't good enough. And you need guys like that in your room. I mean, you know it. Name the sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, whatever it is. You need guys who are willing to speak up in the room. This isn't good enough. Even if we're winning games, this isn't good enough. AJ was that guy. And that's why I worry you are going to miss his leadership off the field.
I get that, and I understand that. But why can't DeVonta Smith take over that leadership role within the locker room? For the wide receivers you're talking about, I'm assuming. Or are you talking for the whole offense? Because if you're talking the whole offense, Lane Johnson has been around a long time. Landon Dickerson's been there forever. Dallas Goedert a long time. What about Saquon? Why can't any of these guys take over that role?
They're going to have to. But AJ is also a guy who has been voted captain by his teammates 2 years in a row. I'm just saying, it's not an easy void to fill. I know a lot of people want to ignore that aspect of it. And all they're focused on is on the field and how much of a cancer AJ was off of it. I think there's more to it. But Silvana said a lot of people are disagreeing with me on this. Love to hear from you. Get your voice memos in. We hear you coming up at 3:45. Send them into the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975. Before we get some texts in here, Sil, this was also the question we threw out on the Twitter poll today. Twitter poll, always standing strong. Does it in the mornings for Kincaid and South Tunis. Does it for us in the afternoons. Our friend Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. What we got today?
Oh, this might surprise you. Where will the Eagles miss A.J. Brown more? On the field, off the field, or neither? 70% are voting on the field. 26% are voting neither. 4% are voting off the field.
Yeah, you see, I am just a bigger picture thinker than most, Ricky.
Neither?
That's the thing. No, but let's talk about the neither category. 26% of people who are voting neither. I get it. That's wishful thinking. I'm not saying this team can't win without AJ. That's not the point of this. I think that they can. But to say they're not going to miss him at all, I think is just turning a blind eye to what A.J. Brown has actually meant to this team, both on the field and off the field. Like, we're debating on or off, Ricky. I don't think there's an argument to be made that they won't miss him at all.
They're going to miss him. I mean, on both sides. You look at the locker room, they're going to miss him. They're obviously going to miss him on the field because you got to make up for sometimes 1,400 yards a couple times, almost 15, and over 1,000 last year. Yes, you are going to miss him. What are you going to miss more on the field, though? Him being the focal point for defenses, which opens up what? The field for everybody else? Or is it his yardage? I think it's him being the focal point, which opened up the game for DeVonta Smith and Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We all love DeVonta, and I think he's able to step up and be the number one. But it is different being the number one receiver.
It's different. You're going to be double teamed. You're going to be the focus. Literally, you're going to be under the microscope. When you think about it, when your other teams, what are you going to do? You're going to put an eye on him. Unless Mekhi Lemon comes in here and he is just phenomenal right off the bat, which does happen. We saw Emeka Egbuka last year for Tampa early on in the season. Yeah. What did he do? He was running wild on people. Although, what happened there? That stopped about midway through the season, didn't it? See what I mean? When you have a little added pressure and the focus becomes on you, it makes it tougher on that one person. He's going to need somebody else with him. There's always dynamic duos. When you think back to last year, that was a dynamic duo with the wideouts. You need somebody to be his Robin.
Yeah, well, no, it was Swole Batman and Skinny Batman.
Well, you still need somebody to be at least his Robin. How's that?
Yeah, no, you're right. Listen, I think there are ways to replace them both on and off, but to say you're not going to miss them at all, I think that is just wishful thinking. But look, a lot of people have been hitting us up on the Davis Honda text line. Would love to hear from you. I mean, first off, is a 2028 first-round pick, which is being rumored as the trade compensation, is that enough for you? Is that enough for you? And then secondly, where are they going to miss A.J. Brown the most? Is it on? Is it off? Are you one of the people who think they won't miss him at all? Would love to hear from you. 3 ways to get involved. Davis Honda text line, send your voice memos in or pick up the phone and call 610-632-0975, the number for all of them. All right, let's get a text in here. So what are people saying on the text line?
This texter says, Bill, leaders take accountability. When did AJ ever take accountability for having a bad game or making a mistake? Don't mistake a loud mouth for leadership.
Okay, listen. I'm not telling you that it's my opinion that AJ Brown is a good teammate. This is based off of the players who play with AJ Brown. You just heard Saquon Barkley say he's one of the best teammates I've ever had. I don't think that was just lip service.
One of the best. That means there were a bunch of them.
Okay. He didn't have to say that at all. If you knew that A.J. Brown was on his way out and you actually thought he was a cancer, you could have said, hey, it's business. I wish A.J. Brown the best.
Why am I getting the feel that you're hiding? Like, you feel like everybody, you have said it, that there's more than one person who probably has issues with Jalen Hurts. But do we know that factually? Do we? Do we think that maybe everybody in the room is like, oh, Jalen. I can't see it being just like that.
All right, well, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Fair or not, we have seen anonymous sources, quote unquote, come out and say negative things about the quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
We have. And usually that would be somebody who's not getting the ball or is supposed to get the ball from.
But whether or not you agree with those sources or not, my point is, how many anonymous sources have come out and talked negatively about A.J. Brown?
I haven't heard it.
How many articles get written about A.J. Brown being a bad teammate?
I don't think he is. I'm not against you.
It's us who talk about it. It's the fans. It's media who say, oh, A.J. Brown. Anyone you speak to down there at whatever it's called now, the old NovaCare complex, love the guy.
Jefferson Health.
The Jeff, we'll call it from here on out.
Well, sure, people will get pissed if you're using another name.
I'm just saying, I think this whole he's a cancer, get him out of here is a fan reaction.
Well, number one, I think that's a wrong picture to paint. I don't think you ever do that unless you know completely that it's the truth. I don't think it's the truth. I think A.J. Brown is a great player. Look, everybody has different types of issues or things that people will look at. People look at him with the book on the sideline. That's the first thing that always comes up, which is why I brought it up in the last segment. People look at that and they think that's, oh, look at him, trying to be the focal point. Well, guess what? If you're a wide receiver, guess what you want to be? You want to be the focal point. You want the ball to come to you. You want the all eyes on you type thing if you're a number one receiver. So, yes. Yeah, okay. So he does some things on the sideline that people maybe don't like. But the other thing that they're going to point out is that they believe that AJ quit in the San Francisco game.
Yeah.
That may be the biggest thing that people will stir up.
Yeah. I mean, it was a bad game for him. No doubt about it. All right, look, let's continue this conversation. I see a lot of people want to get involved. Phone lines, text boards going crazy. 610-632-0975. Is a 2028 first-round pick enough? And where will the Eagles miss A.J. Brown the most? On the field, off of it, or do you think they won't miss him at all? 610-632-0975. The A.J. Brown watch continues on Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.